about like because she kept shouting at her daughters, and I was like, I don't know if that's healthy, you know, because. But I didn't say it from their point of view. I was like, it's from your point of view. Every time you shout and blow, you're not relaxing. And you're coming in from a hard day at work, and then you're coming in and you're shouting at your kids. So you're always up. Like when you're supposed to be relaxing at home.
Yeah.
I was like, what is it that they're doing that's making you shout? Like, have
that's
you
a good way to approach it.
Yeah, and that because literally she was getting angry at her kids. And I was like, that's gonna harm your relationship in the long run. So how do I word this and say this to you, like, so you stop doing that?
Yeah. It's a tough one, because what I was gonna say before is that I think people are curating their personal brand online, so they're not being their true self. And that curation means that we're missing out on really honest moments. So instead of me saying that I think in parenting we should do what I really think, I'm saying, well, wait, I've got to think, who's going to see this? Are they going to call service on me? Are they going to like slam me if this is too radical? But I may still believe it. I'm not putting it out in the space. So we're missing tons of really good ideas. And what we really need is a space where, like, if someone says something that's incorrect, it's not a charge against their permanent charge against their character. It's an idea that's incorrect. It's different between saying, like, this is what I'm currently doing to someone, to a child, and I believe in it and I'm not going to stop, versus like, I had an idea, this is what I think children should be doing, and you say that as an idea and someone's like, that's the worst idea in the world, you're dangerous. And I think that happens a lot when you speak about women online, when you talk about any oppressed group online, black people online. You will get this like absolute, like it's always like an absolute truth from the other side, like, this is fundamentally wrong, you are evil, you shouldn't be working, you're trying to set, like, just this big massive charges laid at the door of this individual who's just like, I had an idea.
I think,
so
I
we're
think
lose those ideas.
how you put it across as well, like, there is a, I guess, I don't know if it's pressure or trend of that the way people put forward their ideas online is as absolute truth, or is as like, this is a formula for success, rather than, you know, I'm sharing this because it's something I've thought about and believe in. What do you think, world? Kind of thing. And that might, that approach might leave more room for discussion.
You're right. It's a good approach for us.
It's like we was talking about James O'Brien earlier. That's what I was saying. Like, you know, while a lot of the stuff he says is grounded in common sense, I think sometimes the approach he has, which is part of his personal frustration, you know, leads to people automatically resisting what he's putting forward and saying, yeah, this is too much.
I also think he's so far ahead of his audience that he's just speaking ahead of where we are today. I said this to you actually in the week.
That's exactly what. Yeah.
And I listened to him, and I like that he has very consistent points and he's able to deconstruct stupidity very quickly. But at the same time, he's so advanced with his thinking and so like aware of what the solution should be, that he's just like making it seem obvious that like, why are we leaving Europe, and just making everyone that believes that we should feel stupid because there isn't a fact. Some of it is credibly they have a feeling that their lives would be better off. It doesn't always have to be based on fact. And that's why Brexit Leave is winning, because they're connecting people on an emotional level. There is no emotional story narrative that's strong that says we should connect to Europe. It's all logical, it's all rational, like, yeah, we're going to be better off, and, you know, faster trade. Well, like, what does it mean to, what do you feel? We're not European, we don't feel European, we don't speak the same language, we're very vastly different cultures. At one point, you tried to destroy us, take us off the face of the earth, and then we fought back. And it's like, we don't have a harmonious love affair with Europe. And that's why the narrative isn't been able to be changed. And it's like, the same thing is what I say about anything. When we talk about the black conversation and why people aren't connecting with the black story and what we need as a community, is because the story doesn't connect to Dave up the street who has problems paying his bills. He's not sitting there thinking, yeah, black people really have it tough. He has it tough. He's not hearing our story like, yeah, but even when we're doing well, we're not really doing well. And it's like, even though we are doing well, people still look at us, and I can be charged as an aggressive, raging maniac in the newspaper just like that. Even though I have 2 degrees and I have a job and I'm a director or whatever, I can still be seen painted as an animal just like that in a newspaper, because that's how we're seen. And it's like, he's not going to hear that. And so I think there needs to be a slightly collective change of, instead of focusing on the individual feeling of why I feel like my things are most important, to understanding that you as a Ghanaian, Nigerian, or your experience is different to mine as a Caribbean, and I will listen to your lived experience, irrespective of whether I understand it fully. You're telling me you're happy because the way you were brought up, but by getting beats, has affected your ability to do X.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like, yeah, well, I got beats and I'm okay, because that's what logic is trying to say to you. But I'm saying, I'm just connecting with you. You struggle with that. You weren't able to withstand beats and then be the person that you want to be. It affects you, and so I can hear that. And if we get into that space, look, the hard part of that is that now you have to have 50 approaches to your phone book. You can't have a homogenous approach to how you interact with people when they're going to respond. You have to actually like you, and then you, and then you, and there's completely different relationships, but ultimately it's healthier. It's healthier for you as a person to look at and to be spoken to and to speak to people based on who you're talking to, not as a collective group. Because us as 4 black men, we don't have the same story. It's all different. And so so my overall point, which is I really want to get to a space where we're moving into a slightly more compassion space. It is very, very liberal in thinking. I can get why people reject it, because they can't be bothered. They don't care. They have other things that are in their immediate land, whether it's cancer, I can't pay bills, my child hates my guts, whatever, that prevents you from looking at another human being outside of that world with compassion. But the longer we sit in a space where it's like, I want my things to be the thing, I just think, I think you just fragmented large groups of people, and nobody's going to get the things that they want done. We'll just be complaining online, and you'll have CNN or Sky News with, this person thinks that way, that person that thing. You two argue. Like, where's the moral...
Fox now.
They do it now. Where's the moral code? Because before on TV, I used to watch TV and they would say, this is the news, it's good and it's bad. And there would be a moral code from that news station or that news outlet that says, this is good and this is bad. Now it's like, we have the good and bad sitting here, and they're going to sit and discuss. And it just depends who gets the best soundbite. That's the barometer of our society now, and I don't like it. I liked it when people stood up and said, that doesn't feel right to me. And then they built a narrative around why they don't think that's right, and they stood by that regardless, rather than just kind of
I think because we're living in the age of information, and that I don't think we'll ever go back to that. I think the narrative and the direction the human race has gone in has taken a dramatic turn. And good now gets presented as bad, and bad gets presented as good. And people with agendas present things whichever way suits them best. And that in terms of like going back to having a fundamental idea, because most times someone has an idea, they put it into the hemisphere and it blows up if people say bad things about it. And so, for example, your thing only probably came to your attention because of the amount of retweets and blah blah blah. Even though it's a brilliant idea, it got naysayers, but it's probably what brought it to your attention. So how do we care about something getting attention, or do we just put an idea out? Like, even if it's phrased in a way that is palatable to a lot more people, and that, like, then again, that's the thing, like, you work in the music industry and you work in advertising, so you know that you have to sell en masse, but sometimes in selling en masse, you dilute. It has to be diluted.
I guess you have to do it in a way that you're comfortable with. You're never going to appeal to everybody. No, one thing. I think the only thing is to understand, like, that you're not compromising what you're trying to put out, but at the same time, you know, you are making it, as you say, palatable for, you know, as wide as an audience as possible, that achieving that balance, you know. But yeah, the thing is that the show is often stolen just by characters who have emotional appeal. I mean, in the White House in America at the moment is the best example. So yeah, at the same time, if you believe enough in what you're putting out there, sometimes that is enough. Depends, you know, like if you've got charisma or whatever the case.
Well, I just think people are finding their tribes. I think previously there was a centrist position of, because I'm quite conservative on some things like crime, but I'm also very liberal on lots of like individuality, and so.
See, that's the thing. I think it's very hard. Like James O'Brien, he's probably one of the most left people I see, Like, and he's so left in his thinking that he actually borders on being very conservative in his left thinking. Same as Jeremy Corbyn, like very staunch leftists.
They're not open
but
to...
they're not really like they just and then you get right people that are just so like don't care what facts are presented.
There is no middle ground.
There's no middle ground. But the truth is, the majority of us move. Like we're all the way along the spectrum. And that you could be conservative on the most stupidest of things and be so left and liberal on something else. Like I think it's just the human experience, and I've started to allow for that. And that there's certain things like I don't like crime. I really don't like crime. I hate the fact that poor people, especially black people, think it's cool. Like, I hate that thought. Like it's not cool. It's not cool to be a bad boy. Like I didn't think it was cool to be a bad boy when I was a kid. Like I used to think, oh, that's stupid. Like you're gonna go jail or you're gonna get moved to. That's dumb. Like, and I used to vocalize it at 14, 13 in school. Like you're moving dumb. Like and. Like that nerdy guy gets vilified. But because I was strong enough and articulate enough, you couldn't bully me out of my view, and I would fight you as well, and I could fight. So that's the only reason why I could get away with saying certain things when I was younger. But like, I think that to dilute your message so that a lot more people can hear, and in terms of being heard online, I think it's more to do with my original point, so I just went around in circles and that. But I think how we treat social media needs to be examined, because it's still in its infancy.